Welcome to another episode of Permission to be Wealthy. I'm your host, Tasha Chen, and you'll be happy to know that every episode on this podcast is geared towards reminding you that you deserve wealth with ease. In addition to today's episode, I have a free gift for you. It's my 30-day guided wealth with ease journal. It's meant to support you on your wealth creation journey. Go ahead and grab your free copy at wealthwitheasenow.com. Ladies, do you feel like the love you truly want and deserve is not showing up in your life no matter what you do? Well, it's time to stop settling for less because certified love attraction expert Deanna Washington is ready to guide you to become a magnet for quality relationships so you can finally attract the love you've been wanting and praying for. For nearly a decade, Deanna has been guiding professional women just like you to overcome their subconscious blocks and develop radical self-love that attracts healthy and meaningful relationships. Don't let the love that you deserve pass you by any longer. Take control of your love life by heading over to destinationdionna.com. That's destinationdionna.com. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Permission to be Wealthy. I'm your host, Tasha Chen. And as you know, on these episodes, we open up to conversations that remind you you deserve to have wealth with ease. You might hear a little extra excitement in my voice today because I've got an amazing guest for you. Not only does she happen to be an incredible woman, she is one of my goddesses. She is in our goddess wealth circle. Her name is Jackie Kilraine, and hopefully you can see us somewhere because all of this love and smiling needs to be seen. You cannot get this over audio. Jackie, welcome.
Oh, thank you, Tasha. It's so great to be here. I love you too.
Oh my gosh. So Jackie has a business called Expressing Optima. And what I love about Jackie's work, which you're going to get to learn a little bit more about, is that it's all science-based. She's got a knack for science, but the biggest heart you have ever experienced. And the work that she does is so heart-centered. It truly is, based on you having a divine life.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So Jackie, I want to start off by asking, just going right in there, you're a woman, you know how we do. We've all had at some point in our lives that time where we were overworking, overgiving, over-sacrificing, right? Doing all of the external to everybody and the world things at the cost of ourselves. And I'm curious, because I know a little bit about your story, but for everyone listening, how did you go from normalizing that, like that's the norm, I overgive, I overwork, I overthink, I overdo everything for everybody else, to actually getting yourself to the point where you give yourself permission to be your definition of wealthy?
Yes. Well, and because I nearly crashed. And it's so interesting. So even though I'm a doctor and I take care of everybody else and I loved my practice and everything I did, I didn't know I had a problem until I was almost not functioning anymore. The year anniversary after my husband died, I just crashed. I was so anxious and depressed. I was going to quit my practice that I really, really loved. My brother-in-law said, why don't you work one more year and sell your practice and then move out to where your brother lives in California? I said, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my 2 kids out of middle school. I'm going to leave my oldest to here in college. I'm going to move across the country to California. I'm from Georgia. I don't have a California license, and I'm going to live near my brother, but he lives in a monastery. I mean,
oh, dear Lord. Oh, wow.
Thank goodness that didn't work out. I didn't do that. But and actually what saved my life was a therapy I got for my chronic pain patients, but I don't do anything in my office I don't do on myself first.
Yeah.
So when I did that, it's what changed everything about my life. So it wasn't until I was so discombobulated that I was.
And the idea, through these conversations is that no woman ever has to get to that point, right?
No.
Please don't let yourself have to get to that point. I think we know intuitively, like, I am close to having nothing left to
Yes.
give to anyone.
Yes.
And if you're anywhere near that point and you have the self-awareness of it, then choose yourself.
Definitely.
You know, it sounds so
Definitely.
selfish,
Yeah.
but it is a solution. Like, really, give
Yes.
yourself permission
Yes.
to have a life that you love.
Right.
Right?
And I had to take care of myself, and I had to put myself first because I wouldn't have had anything else to give. I wouldn't have had anything
Yeah.
else to give to my children, to my practice, to anyone if I didn't start putting myself first. And but you don't really know that that's what you're doing. It's kind of a gradual thing, so you just don't even really realize. You think that's just how you are. I used to think I overthought everything just because I'm a doctor, and I have to think of all the scenarios, you know.
So let's give everyone permission right now, right? If you are aware that you're overworking, overthinking, over-sacrificing, just really overdoing it, and I
Yes.
like to say for everybody and everything
Yes.
else except yourself, and you've done that for so long that you think it's normal. It's not normal. It's not normal.
Yes.
And you really, if you have the awareness that you're doing that and your body is telling you too, right? Then it's time to just like white flag it,
Yes. Yes.
come up, get some
Right.
help, reach for change. So in accordance with that, Jackie, one of the things that I know is that you serve a lot of women and high achieving women. And we know, myself being a high achieving woman, that one of the things that come along with that is we overthink. Oh my gosh,
Right.
we have insomnia, we have anxiety, we have so much pressure on ourselves. We're constantly in comparison mode. We cannot shut the brain off. It's like, not only am I thinking about the groceries,
Yes.
my insurance I need to renew. Oh my God, I need to get started on my 401k. I
Right.
got to grow my business. I got to take care of my kids. I got to call my husband. I got to call my mom. And it's like, oh my
Yes.
gosh,
Yes.
the brain never
Yes.
stops, right? And this conversation is about creating wealth. And I bet for so many women, they don't realize that overthinking actually impacts wealth creation.
Definitely.
Can you
It
talk a little
does.
bit about that?
Yes. And that overthinking brain is the default mode for that brain. All that trauma that you've had in your past, your brain doesn't forget it, and it kind of keeps you in that spot. But also what it does is it ends up talking you out of things. It ends up making you fearful and not you don't enjoy your life either, but you're not also going to take those really great opportunities that might come up, or
Yeah.
those really good things that you might want to step out and do. You're going to, oh, I can't do that now, or no, I'm not good enough, or no, I need to take that other course, or no, I don't really know. Well, yeah, you do. That's just fear that's getting in the way. So that definitely gets in the way of your wealth and I walked away from my practice. That was my sole source of income. Have I ever really looked back and been fearful of that? No, I think when you're living your joy and your passion, and all those things find you. They truly do
Yeah.
find you. It's just another avenue, and then it's what you're designed to do. It's what
Yeah.
you're supposed to be here doing. So
Yeah.
you can find your true wealth. And
Oh my gosh, it's like it's bringing up so much for me. I just want to support you in saying, we know when you are in the overthinking space, it usually isn't productive, which is one
No.
of the greatest barriers to wealth. You're actually not thinking about anything that's going to amount to anything. You're worrying.
Yes.
You're depressed.
Yes.
You're anxious,
Yes.
right? And those things will actually take away from your ability to create wealth.
Right.
You can't worry yourself to wealth.
yeah, they
it's never
push
going to happen.
everything away.
Yeah.
They push, even subconsciously, people will sense, well, I don't need to give her my money because there's something going on
Something
here.
off with her,
and
yeah.
she really can't handle anymore.
Yeah.
You really can't. And
Yeah.
and you think that you're doing fine because you're really working hard, you're striving, and you're doing all these things, and you go home and you keep going. It's just not productive. It's not
Yeah.
productive, and it's not joyful.
Oh my gosh. For today's episode, we're going to rename this from permission to be wealthy to permission to stop all the overthinking, overdoing, over everything in, and really just start to give yourself permission to go live your life. Go live
Yes.
your life. One of the things that I'm so proud of in knowing you, and you said it just now, is that you've never done anything on your patients or anything, to help someone that you wouldn't be willing to do on yourself.
Yes.
And I know that you took yourself from that woman who was really going through your own anxiety, depression, all of, the fatigue, all the things that you were experiencing, and you changed that for yourself, right?
Yes.
You did it for yourself. And so it not only it's like a textbook thing you learned in a class, but you've done it for you and you now do it for others. Can you tell us about one massive vision you had for your life that you can think of that was a direct contrast to Jackie owning the chiropractic business, working all the time, having to come up with all that overhead, going in every single day, going to all the conferences, right? That Jackie, and a vision of the total opposite of that.
Oh, yes.
That you have now, you can say, I'm here to tell you it can be done because I've done it. This is an example.
Yes, an example would be buying my Florida house sight unseen. I had an overwhelming feeling come over me. I'm like, wow, what was that? I was in the middle of making breakfast. I picked up my phone. I've been trying to look for a house on the water, look at Zillow, look at all these things for a long, long time. I saw this house. I said, wow, I really like. I called the realtor up. I said, I'm off on Friday. I'm in Georgia. I'm gonna come down on Friday. He said, it won't be here Friday. I said, okay, I'll take it. And with that overthinking, and it's exactly what I wanted, what I love. So from that overthinking, overworking, gotta be there, do it all the time, Jackie, to getting up and seeing the sunrise from my kayak every morning.
Oh my God.
And just. And I still earn a good living. I'm just doing it differently, and I'm doing it. I am putting myself first, and I'm living with joy, and I'm out of my own way, and it doesn't have to be hard. And you've taught me so much of that, and my brain training just let me get out of my own way and still serve because I love it. I did walk away from my practice, but I'm still serving. I'm just doing, and I'm only, I'm not working all day long and then coming home and doing more work. I work 3 days a week, and I can work from anywhere, and I feel like I have a bigger service. But the house, that was something that you wouldn't just buy.
The guy says it's not going to be here on Friday. She goes, okay, over the phone. Okay, I'll buy it. I mean, Jackie, as you were sharing, I want to be super transparent and vulnerable because I saw myself in something that you just shared, and I think most of us can relate to this. So I have been recently in a opportunity to make a major financial decision, right, the most money I've ever invested for this particular thing. And so my husband and I are involved, and when I tell you the overthinking, and you know what? So remember, I teach this stuff,
I
right?
know. Yes.
Hello,
Yes.
I teach this stuff. I should know what I'm doing. And so I realize right now, because I didn't realize what I was doing until I'm listening to you, because my husband said to me, he goes, I don't know what happened to my wife. Where has my wife gone? Because I've never seen you do this thing that you're doing right now. And it wasn't even so much, I was like, I don't know where this fear or concern or whatever. And it wasn't that. I think the best way to describe it, I was just overthinking.
Yes.
Truly just in my own way.
Yes.
Right?
And that's the default way your brain is.
Yeah.
It's there for you to survive. It's there to protect you. So the overthinking is part of that. And when it's a big change or a big shift, it's going to kind of kick in a little bit, but you can kind of calm that and look at it. I like to stand behind myself and kind of look at the whole situation and see if that helps me think through it. But I think it's a natural response. I'm not saying we want to get rid of it entirely. You need that in some situations, but then you recognize when it's not helpful.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I realized that as I was like the couple of days that I was in that place of overthinking, at one point, God bless my husband and all of his support, but at one point I literally said to him, "Are you exhausted of me? Are you exhausted of this?" Like, because as I'm
I know.
overthinking,
Yes.
he's having to
Yes.
compensate, right?
Yes.
And so I think like, yes, it is something that's there, a mechanism to support us, but what we want to be aware of is when you're always there.
Yes.
Right? I was there
Yes.
for a few days. My
Yeah.
God, I cannot imagine my
I know.
life.
And I think about that now because I was always there to some degree and then worse later. But I would remember coming home and saying to my husband, this and that and all this happened and I just and he would look at me and go, "You're worried about that?" And I'm like, "You're not?
You're not?
I shouldn't be? What?" And I think, oh my gosh, I just exhausted him,
Yeah.
because he was always that calm, like logical, like I thought he just didn't get it. But
Yeah,
it was
he
really
just-
me.
Yeah,
That
he was
the
just
one
like,
that-
I'm not choosing to worry about that,
and
Jackie.
I thought, how could you not worry about that? This is so, but it really wasn't.
Oh my gosh. God bless the men that support us. So, all right. So I love that you have this beautiful example of Jackie who was that Jackie of the past.
Yes.
And the life that you've created using the work that you now teach and support others with, right? So it's science-based. It's a lot of neuroscience, neurofeedback specifically. One of the things that I know you love to say is like, the brain has all the solutions, everything that we need.
Yes.
We're all
Yes.
experiencing our bodies and our lives as a result of what's going on in the brain.
Yeah.
So here we talk about creating wealth with ease and speed. How would you say that we can use neuroscience or neurofeedback to track our dreams coming through faster?
Oh, definitely. So I love the science of imagination. I love because a lot of people that I would treat had been so stuck where they were for so long, they couldn't even imagine being somewhere else. So I love to start a client with imagining their perfect day. Where do you really want to be? And then we get the brain into a really calm state, and so we can move all the, clear all the overthinking, anxiety, the things that get in your way out permanently with the neurofeedback. We don't have to have that. And then we can kind of lay in the neuroscience of imagination at night and help your brain process out. It just fast tracks everything. It's not, it's what I do. I treat people typically, 30 sessions, 6 weeks. And that really lays a really nice groundwork, that just an open path for that imagination to kind of come through. Then you can even kind of train that in too.
I wrote some notes as you were talking earlier where I said, once you change your brain, you can't go back,
Yeah,
right?
no.
Like that's what I think people really need to understand about the work that you do is that if you can train your brain to see and accept a desired outcome that you have for yourself, like game over.
Game over.
Game
It's
over.
done. And it's I hate to say it's smart, but it's smart. If it's a more efficient, more effective way to be. So once you're there, it's not going to go back.
Yeah.
It's not going to go, oh no, I'd rather go back to that overthinking,
Yeah.
I can't shut it off brain.
Yeah.
If you have some trauma, that kind of can push it back up a little bit.
Yeah.
But you know how to just train that right back
Back
down.
down. Yeah.
And so I look at my whole life pre and post my brain training. I just experience everything differently. Everything in my life is brighter and more joyful. And, when to talk about relationships, sex, career-wise, experiences, going out and doing things, it's just so totally different when you're looking at it from a different brain perspective.
And I'm just going to be like first-hand testimonial. The first time I met Jackie, she still had her chiropractic business. She was at a live event with me. She sat in the back of the room. I was literally doing the most happy-go-lucky thing, which was teaching people how to make a manifested board, right? Like a vision board. And she is bawling in the back of the room as we're doing this. And it was really just your awareness, I think, of that. I'm not living a life I love. Fast forward, right? You have done this work through my program, but as well as all the things that you
Yes.
know how to do. And I just watch you walk in the beach Costa Rica, right, on one of our
Yes.
goddess trips. And I was just like, I can't tell you how many times I saw you just off doing your thing. I'm like, look at this woman, so happy in just like her element, like living her life. And we're talking about 2 years later, right?
Right, definitely.
Just a few years later.
Yes.
And that's what, you're not even going to recognize yourself once you do this
Absolutely.
work.
Yes.
It's really amazing. So I want to put this in context for the woman who is struggling with anxiety, depression. You know, you're overthinking, you're not sleeping, you're fatigued. You just like, you don't love your life. You're not well. You maybe have fertility issues. I think, you know, women who are in transition, maybe you
Yes.
just went through a divorce, or you lost a spouse, or your children are left, and it's just causing all these trauma responses. And you know, like, I think the woman that you're meant to serve, Jackie, she knows that the solution is not in a bottle.
No.
It literally is inside her, and specifically it's in her brain. It's
Right.
in her mind.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so if that woman is listening and she's like, I know it's me. I know the solution is inside me. I just need help to change it.
Right.
How would she reach you?
She can reach me through Expressing Optima, through Facebook, through LinkedIn, through Instagram. All
So
of those.
expressingoptima.com?
.com.
Okay,
Yeah.
expressingoptima.com. I can tell you Jackie's work is amazing. It's science-based. Sometimes people are like, you know, all this mindset stuff sounds
Yeah,
too woo-woo. Literally, this is science, right?
for sure.
Proven,
Peer-reviewed,
documented,
published.
right?
Yes.
Proven, published, all the things. Well, Jackie, thank you for being on.
Thank you, Tasha.
And thank you
So
for
great to
sharing
be
your
here.
work.
Appreciate you. Love you.
You are welcome. All right, ladies, go give yourself permission to be wealthy and live the most amazing version of your life.